Morning, everybody. I am Meg, and you are watching Loven Stamps. This is Maker Mornings with Meg. And today's project features, where's my stamp set? Oh, here we go. The Autumn Leaves stamp set and the gorgeous All About Autumn paper. So here's the stamp set, which is easy to look at and think, it's another leaf set. But oh my gosh, this suite is fantastic. This centerpiece of it is the Autumn Leaves, or the All About Autumn Designer Series paper. So this is the quick sneak peek of these. I think I've showed this to you a couple times. It's a photo paper on one side. They're actual like photos printed. They're gorgeous. And then the back side is all of these fun foiled papers that are gold foiled. Now, when do we ever say that the back side is the foiled side? I know that seems so counter to what we usually do. Usually the foiled side is the front and the back side is whatever it is. But on this one, oh my gosh, these papers are gorgeous. So they have been out of stock for a few days now, since the 6th. They went out instantly at 3 in the morning because they're so gorgeous. And they are back today, but they're on low inventory again. So I'm just going to tell you, if you want this paper, don't wait. Just go snag it right now. Link is in the video description. So, and then you can come back and watch the rest of our project. But all right, let's go ahead and switch our camera over because I'm going to show you this. We have a fun fold today. We're going to feature this gorgeous paper. I'm going to show you this amazing, gorgeous stamp set and the dies that go with it. I'm going to show you a folder. And I'm going to show you one of the sneak peek, or not sneak peek anymore, one of the special release papers. There we go. One of the special release papers that just came out in the online exclusives a few days ago. So, and I think that is one that you are definitely going to want, especially with holiday cards coming up too. So whether fall temps have hit your area or not, you're going to feel fall after today's card. So, hey, Becky, morning, Elaine and Tanya. Let's get our camera switched over. Here we go. All right, so here I'm going to show you these papers again. So there are 4 of each in a package, and you can see how absolutely breathtaking this photography is. This sweater print here is the one that one of the ones we're going to feature on our project this morning. This is actually like a path here. It took me a while to resolve this, and then these are the tops of trees, like a drone photo. A good wood grain never is, you never have enough. This is a wide wale corduroy, which is just beautiful and actually showing up really nicely on the camera, I think. Hey, Sue. Pumpkins, we're going to use this. Now, one of the things that I think is so fantastic about these, here are some books, is that these are not just like pretty pictures of any books. These are pretty pictures where the color values are matched to go along with the Stampin' Up! Colors. So you see how perfectly these backs coordinate? That's because these are not just any books, they're color coordinated to go along with our things. And here is another one. So yes, you could take pictures of leaves, but these leaves match the colors in the designer series paper, right? That's how great Stampin' Up! Is about matching colors. And that means your projects are gonna look terrific. So when we put our card together, you're gonna see what colors we've pulled and how that goes together so well. Again, color values matched perfectly for the Stampin' Up! Palette. There's some pretty leaves and there are some close-ups on those fantastic book volumes. So, all right, so lots of good choices for these papers. But like I said, they are on low inventory already again, so don't wait if you want these. All right, so let's go ahead. We're gonna set our stamps aside for just a second and get our card base ready. Now, Accordion Z-fold is something that I've showed you a couple times, so this might look familiar to you, but if you forgot, like, oh yeah, Meg, I wanted to make that card, this is a good reminder for you. So you're gonna cut your cardstock to 5.5 inches by 11 inches. You're going to score it. So this is basically, you know, like your cardstock is going this direction instead of the other way. And then you're going to score it at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7 inches. Okay, there is the directions. If you rather, I know like when we go to Stampin' Up! Big events as demonstrators, we all like take photos of the screen and stuff when they're putting it on there. So keep that photo handy. Hey, Cookie, welcome. I'm so glad that you could join us. First time viewer, so fun. All right, So we're going to go ahead and take our cardstock and we're going to fold it in an accordion, very simple. Okay, so that's going to be our backing, and then I think you've got this, right? Okay, I'm going to set that aside. You know, I'll leave it up there for you. All right, so now we are going to work on our next part of the assembly, and then we're going to go ahead and do our decoration. So the base of this piece, this is 3 1/4 inches by 6 1/2 inches. And I'm going to just fold this in half, and this is going to be our accordion, our Z part of our accordion fold. So this is the accordion, this is the Z. And my favorite adhesive for this, of course, is, I know you're shocked, multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm just going to put some on each side like this. And the reason I love it is because it gives me the chance to move things around, okay? So I'm going to slide this in here. I'm going to move this over so that it is centered pretty much top to bottom as well as left to right, okay? And I'm just doing this with a card closed so that I know our card will close and fit in the envelope. Give that a second to grab, and it's going to set up like that. So that is the basic idea of our card layout. Now, we have some fantastic things to pop on this card, so let's go ahead and work on our panels. One of the nice things about this layout is that you have 1, 2, 3 panels to put together. And so for that, I like to match up the third panel here with our first overlay there. So we have another square set. And then I have 2 pieces of designer series paper from that gorgeous paper there to put together here on our card. So we're gonna go ahead and pop them on both sides here. And you can see how when the Stampin' Up! Color values are in the designer series paper, it really, like matching them with the cardstock, really emphasizes the color tones and makes those photos even more gorgeous, okay? So great news on coordinating colors. And then I'm gonna actually go ahead and pop this on the back here. So I could just do this with a crumb cake background, but I kinda like this one. We're gonna do a little stamping on there too. All right. So let's look at our pieces. I have for my colors picked out Pretty Peacock and Cajun Craze. And Pretty Peacock isn't specifically seen in any of these colors, but it is a really great match for these. And of course, when you're working with Stampin' Up! Papers, you want to keep your packages handy so you can just look and see what the colors are included there. So they make it for easy matching, okay? All right, let's start with our card front here. And for this one, I am going to go ahead and do some die cutting. So the stamp set, Autumn Leaves, includes the chance to get bundled a set of dies. You can get the dies on their own. You could actually put the dies to a ton of great use, even without the stamps, but having the stamps gives you much more flexibility on how you want to use them. And these are, there's a background here and a vein. And so what I'm going to do is from a piece of, what cardstock is this? Cajun Craze cardstock. I'm going to cut a big leaf as well as one of these small leaves. And you can see here that there are a lot of leaves in this variety. Excuse my washi tape. There are multiples of different pieces, which means you could lay everything out and die cut everything at once, which always to me feels like a much nicer way to spend my time. Lay out once, cut once, use the things rather than like having to recut the same element over and over again. So let's grab those pieces. I have here my big leaf and the small leaf, which has its own little veining that's part of the die, so that happens automatically. And then I want to also add some extra color to this. And for that, I'm going to grab a piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock, so to match our inks. And we are going to die cut this fantastic oak leaf set piece. And so there I have, through the magic of television, my oak leaf die cut. Okay. All right, so now we want to go ahead and add something else to them. And if you're wondering where I got the inspiration for this, the book here is my favorite place to go for inspiration. And let me find this here. So on page 42 here, the All About Autumn Suite, you can see that they made these gorgeous cards. I'm sorry, it's not focused very well. There we go. And they added background to them with the super fantastic folder, which is the Distress Tile 3D folder. I realized I forgot to put the Distress Tile folder in the video description link to supplies, so you'll have to add that one. And here they've used the oxidized copper paper, but I'm going to show you an alternate idea, which is really cool. So we'll get to that in a second for the veining. All right, so I'm going to take my leaves, I'm going to pop them here into my folder, and go ahead and run these through. And through the magic of television, I have now these really pretty rustic looking leaves. That tile folder is fantastic. So how many of you guys often think about putting your folders on your elements as opposed to just backgrounds? They're definitely not just for backgrounds. So think about using your folders for other things also. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and want to add the veining to this. So the veining is part of the die set also. And instead of using that oxidized copper paper like they've shown there, this is magical. This is the silver and gold adhesive backed glimmer paper. And you get one sheet, one 12 by 12 sheet of each. There's the number in case you're looking for it. But it is amazing because it is pre-stickied. So when you run this through your die cut machine and you have something like this with a veining, all you have to do is peel the backing off, and it's got just the right amount of stick where it will stick to your project, but not be so sticky that it like sticks to itself and it's hard to work with, okay? So check out how gorgeous that is. So pretty. I'm so excited about this. And then here we need one more for this, and I've got the leaf here. So we have our two elements. Let's see. I just tweaked that just a little bit as it goes. And it's not super sticky on the back, so I'm not gonna worry about that too much, and I'll show you. We're gonna cover most of that up with our elements here, so probably not a big deal. Sue says she's used the folders on large pieces. Yes, yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you have this folder on the way. And yes, that adhesive backed gold foil paper is amazing. And yes, when I look at this, I think, oh my gosh, I only get one 12 by 12 sheet of each color. But you know what? A little bit goes a really long way, because you can use it tiny bits, and you're going to see that from me in the next couple of videos. But also you can save your scraps, because these little bits here you can use to punch or die cut little elements of things. So a little bit goes a long way with this paper. All right. Oh, Becky said she used the twisted rope folder with the trees. Oh, good idea. I love that. Okay. So we're going to put our leaves on here. We're going to cover up part of our sweater print. We're going to kind of give those a little bit of a jaunty angle, because we're going to leave a spot here for our greeting. And I have a piece of very vanilla cardstock here. And the greeting I'm going to use from this stamp set is with a grateful heart. There are lots of good choices. I'm thankful for all you do today and every day. Have you as a friend. Actually, if you're going to fall weddings, today and every day is such a great sentiment. You could add that to a wedding card or something like that. And I'm going to grab my piece here. Now, the other thing that's included in this very robust die set, aside from some background textures and those leaves we talked about, are labels. And so there's two different rectangle labels and one little washi sort of slash label. And so we're going to take this, die cut this from Very Vanilla cardstock, and through the magic of television, we have our label here ready to go. And so let me set this aside. I'm going to go ahead and ink this with pretty Peacock ink and stamp here on our piece of cardstock. There we go. Okay, so with a grateful heart, give that a second to make sure that it's not going to smear when although really things dry pretty darn quickly. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple dimensionals on the back. Especially with something photoreal like this, it's just great to have that extra layering. And then I'm going to pop this on like so. Okay, so we have our piece kind of stuck down, but I haven't put any adhesive behind our leaves yet. So I'm actually going to just peel this up for each one so that I don't have to kind of reposition. I have them where I want them. And so I've just popped a little bit of extra dimensional underneath of those. Hey, Carol. All right, so now this is going to go on the front of our card, and we're going to add some embellishment. So there's the back of the paper is the foil. Oh, it kills me a little bit, but the photo papers are so gorgeous that the foil actually takes back seat to it, in my book at least. I don't know. Do you think the foil should be front seat or back seat? I'm all with the photos on the front seat and the foils on the back seat. All right, so there is that. But then speckled dots. And these you might find aren't available at the very moment. Hang in for them to come back in stock. And they are a great addition to lots of fall cards. And they have just a little bit, remember to open your packages from the side. They have just a little bit of, gosh, can we see it? A little bit of sparkle in them. So not a ton, but just a little bit of speckled foily stuff in. So we're going to go ahead and add a couple of these to the front. And in honor of our crumb cake and our sweater, I'm going to use these sort of sweater colored ones. Are you guys sweater weather yet? I am. I'm hopeful for it. Like I've started, hey, I did wear a sweater this morning. I started wearing sweaters even though we're not quite there yet. It's sweater weather in the morning, but then not by midday. So, all right. Oh, Allison says it's hard to put the foil on the back. I know, right? It's tricky, but gosh, they're really so pretty. Hey, Kelly. Yeah, they don't wait too long on the leaves, so they're going to be they're fleeting. What can we say? Like leaves usually are. All right, so it's really tempting to want to put this here like this, but we're going to use our pumpkins. I'm going to turn it, I think, this direction, and we're going to go ahead and stick them down, and they can hold their own, so I am not going to. Now, if you have to put the foil up on this page, go ahead. You can put the foil up, but I am going to put the photo up. So if you can't handle it, all right. Oh, Tanya says she's not a sweater person. Too hot. Yeah, I'm either a sweater and shorts or jeans and a t-shirt. So that's my favorite go-to weather. All right, so we have our background here, and actually I'm not going to stamp on this one. I want the stamping on our focal point inside to stand out. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this one straight on. And if you haven't sort of figured this part out, this piece here is 4 inches wide. So the cardstock layer is 3 3/4 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall, but you can always measure and subtract 1/4 inch. All right, and then we have these two pieces here. What to do with them? Why, stamping, of course. So, pardon my chair squeak. I need to grab a piece of scrap paper because this is going to be one of those things where it looks like we are stamping a piece and cutting it out of a larger piece of paper so that we can really show off our pattern. And having your pattern off the edges of what your little piece of cardstock is gives it extra motion and helps it, feel like it's a little bit less static. It just has more motion and interest. It's going somewhere, so you can kind of add that extra to your card. All right, so I'm going to start here with the large leaf here, and I'm going to stamp it, and I'm going to stamp it once on my scrap paper here, because what I want to be on my cardstock is just a little bit of lighter. We want to have a place for someone to write inside this card, and so I'm going to go ahead and do sort of a second generation stamp. We call it stamping off first, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab the veining here and go ahead and stamp this. Now, there are about 1.5 zillion ways that you could use these two stamps together. So let's talk about some of them. You could use a blending brush on your background to get multicolored leaves. You could use the veining with gold embossing powder, Versamark ink and gold embossing powder, so that you could have gold veined embossed leaves. You could do that also with the die cut leaves. So you could die cut the Cajun Craze leaf here, and then before you emboss it, you would want to do this. You could add the veining and do gold embossing on your die cut leaves. You could, all kinds of possibilities, really. It's fairly endless. And the fact that the veins and the leaves are separated make this stamp set a little different from other leaves I have, and so much more flexible. So again, I'm gonna ink this little oaky leaf in Pretty Peacock and stamp off so that I get a nice light color. And I'm just gonna leave some space in the middle for our greetings and writings and so forth. You love how I stop talking sometimes when I stamp because I have to think about where I'm placing something. All right, so this is now going to go here. And you see how having that, that's not exactly where I'm gonna place it. I just wanna get this out of the way. Do you see how having this element off the edge of the paper makes it feel like there's motion and stuff going on here? Oh, Roxanne, 90 Friday and Saturday. I'm sorry. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Just like imagine a few months from now when we're wishing for our 90 degrees again. So, all right. And then again with the Stampin' Up! Colors, look at how when you pop this here onto the Cajun Craze background, it really brings those colors out and helps to strengthen them and make them look even more beautiful. So I almost dropped that. All right, so this 3-inch square, these are 3-inch squares, by the way. So this is a great card to use for designer series papers at 6x6 or 12x12 because you can cut it into 3x3 squares and go ahead and use it. So this is gonna be set here. So let's go ahead and attach this. Now, there is kind of an important element to where you attach this because remember, it might show when your card is closed. So I'm going to close my card. I'm going to get this pretty close. You notice I didn't put adhesive all the way to the edges because I wanted it to be pretty close. And then I'm just going to double check it there, make sure it's still straight. That's the great thing about multi-purpose liquid glue. You can still adjust. And then we have our piece. Now it does grab pretty quickly, so you don't want to wait forever. But you have that little bit of adjustment. So there we have our speckled dots. When you're getting your autumn, All About Autumn paper today, get some of that self-adhesive glimmer paper. And the tile folder, we have our gorgeous stamps and dies from Autumn Leaves. And really just a fun card, right? So pretty quick to put together. Oh, I didn't even use these leaves. Okay, so you could, if you want to add another leaf there on the front. Actually, that's kind of cute. I might pop that down there. Now, a word about that. When you are popping this extra leaf on, what do you think, on top or on the bottom? I think on top. When you're popping this extra leaf on, you want to make sure your adhesive does not extend across the bottom here because you don't want to accidentally seal your card shut. So I'm going to actually solve that problem. Let's see, are we going to come across there like that? I think so. So I'm going to solve that problem by putting my adhesive here on the card so that when I peel this off and then stick my leaf on it, I know that my adhesive is covering that. So there we go. Hey, I kind of like that extra little addition there. So now we have not sealed our card shut here by making that attach there. So yay. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Becky. Yes, this paper, these stamps, these dies, this is just an amazing suite, and its popularity with it going on back order right away when the new catalog started, its popularity is a testament to just how beautiful people find it. So rest assured there are a lot of cards that you can make with this. I have some other ideas, and if you miss the paper, don't fret. You can get so much out of the stamps and dies. So I'll show you some things with just that selection a little bit later in September, October. In case the paper doesn't come back. But if you want the paper, run. Sorry, I really like the paper. So, but it is very pretty without the paper too. So don't fret if you haven't gotten that. So, other things that I was going to show you. Oh, so I was actually going to show you really quickly the other online exclusive paper. So let me pull that out. I'm going to switch our camera back down here, I think, so you can see the patterns the best. Let me get my ink out of the way so I do not stamp our new papers. And so these are part of the special release. There are 5 online exclusives. So one of them was that glimmer paper that I showed you. And then we're gonna switch this to our other camera. Oh, Elaine, sorry. Elaine said she didn't think she needed the paper, but now she does. So don't wait, Elaine. All right. So this paper is the Traditions of St. Nick paper, Traditions of St. Nick. And I'm just going to show you the sheets here. So it has the fronts, and then the backs are these very traditional, I don't know, would you call this Victorian paper? So there's the St. Nicholas's, there is the sort of spicy drinks. There is a paper. At first, this actually almost looks foiled. I love the colors on it. This is our post boxes, which are very fun. So a cute sketch art there. Then we have another sort of wallpapery print. Gosh, if you were doing a Victorian dollhouse, I think you'd need this paper. This is the fun cozy seating, which makes me think fall and winter. We have another backgroundy print. There's so many things you can do with this. And actually, like if you like to make your own envelopes, these are really terrific prints because they are, you could have this on the outside and then the fun design on the inside. There's lots of great ways to use these. So let me get the last of these little stockings and so forth. So this is the Traditions of St. Nick paper. Let's see. Sue asked, does Razzleberry ink work for that? So this one's not Razzleberry. This one includes Cajun Craze. So what we use for our autumn paper today, Cherry Cobbler, Copper Clay is the color that you are thinking might be Razzleberry. Early Espresso, Mossy Meadow, Pebbled Path, Real Red, and Wild Wheat. So definitely Real Red and Wild Wheat. So raspberry's not in it. You could maybe, though, combine something like this if you wanted to pull this paper, which doesn't have a color other than that Mossy Meadow, and combine with Razzleberry. So you could mix and match things within it to do for sure. Actually, this Pebbled Path here might be pretty with Razzleberry. So, okay. Let's see. Oh, Tanya asked if this is in the paper share. This is not in the paper share because the online exclusives are not. They came out after we started the paper share. All right, I'll put that away later. All right, the next one is the Shining Christmas 12 by 12 Specialty Designer Series paper. And it is Shining Christmas because it is foiled and it has a red foil on the white background, and there are 6 different sheets in here, and you get 2 12 by 12 of each one. And look at the candy canes. They have little hearts interspersed. They're darling. Then we have a great traditional holly paper, which is always good. And then this argyle, which is fantastic. Gosh, it's really a standalone paper, I think. Mix and match it with the stripes if you want. They're a wavy stripe, which is kind of a fun twist. Those packages with those little stars in there look very, the little asterisk stars make them look a little vintage to me. And then the sort of stylized Christmas trees, and they have that foiled red on them too. So gorgeous paper, and you get 2 sets of it. So in that you get 2 sets of the 12 by 12 sheets, so 6 patterns. And then this last one, here's your Rich Razzleberry, Sue. This is Delightful Floral Designer Series paper, and it matches the translucent, what is that one called? There's an absolutely beautiful stamp set in the book called Translucent something or other. And Translucent Florals, let's look at it really quickly because this paper actually coordinates with it. So it's an online exclusive paper, but the stamps and dies are part of the book. They're on page 56. So, and you can see there are a ton of, focus problems here. A ton of great dies and layering pieces. So this is like one of those ones where you can use the dies with the florals and stamp sets, or you can use them standalone. So always good to have a nice congrats stamp set. So this one's Berry Burst, Blackberry, Bliss, Bubble Bath, Calypso Coral, Fresh Freesia, Lemon, Lolly, Parakeet Party, Pool Party, and Pretty Peacock. So here is this paper. The fronts are florals or leaves. The backs are these awesome 12 by 12 sheets of watercolor swoosh paper. I don't know. What would you call this? Watercolor wash? A watercolor wash. There is a gorgeous peacock and parakeet. Peacock and parakeet. It's the bird paper. I feel like now I need to find a bird stamp set to stamp with a peacock backing, a really pretty petite floral. So sometimes nice to have a little pattern to mix and match with things. Calypso coral, gorgeous wash, and then slightly bigger. So this is a bigger floral pattern that matches translucent. This one's very bubble bath. Here's another peacock and parakeet leaf print, a pool party wash, and then a smaller. So we kind of have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have like 4 sizes of these blooms. So I don't know about you, but a lot of times when I go to make a card, the size of the print isn't necessarily what I want for a certain layout. So really cool here to have, you know, when you're in this color family, to have lots of options for making different size prints and things like that. So actually, I'm going to grab this to show you. I think we did this the other day, right? We did this frame already. So something like this would be really fun with a paper like this, where you have the neutrals in the watercolor washes and then the various sizes of prints to use as your designer series paper. So all kinds of great ideas for that. So, all right, let's see. So those are the new papers that you wouldn't have seen yet because they're from the online exclusive. So as you're getting your autumn leaves paper, watch is probably, hopefully it's still in the store right now. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great day, a good start to your week, and I will be back on Thursday with another Make Your Morning with Meg project. I appreciate seeing you guys all this morning. Good morning, Bonnie. Thank you. And yeah, we'll see you on Thursday. So let me know if you have any questions. As always, links are in the video description, and I appreciate your orders and your support of Make Your Mornings with Meg. So happy stamping, everybody.